Now at 5:30 on Newswatch.
A local man built his home to help the environment. Athens County's prosecuting attorney got a surprise when he was called for jury duty.
And in sports, the Ohio basketball team is trying to get back on track after 2 straight losses.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
Before we get to the 2 local news stories, multiple Ohio counties get tens of millions of dollars to repair roads and bridges. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rachel Hoops.
And I'm Alyssa Hansen. After the heavy rainfall from March to May of last year, the Ohio Department of Transportation has now been awarded Federal Highway Administration funding. Athens is one of 44 counties that will benefit from the grant. ODOT will receive more than $89 million to make the repairs to return to pre-storm conditions. Also among the affected counties, Hocking, Meigs, Vinton, and Washington. Senator Sherrod Brown says the funds will be spent on federal highways damaged during the severe storms. An Athens area man has built a house made of all natural material. It doesn't have any running water or sufficient electricity, but people can actually live there. Tina Kuna reports.
Sandwich clay mixed with straw, and on the outside even some horse manure. The walls of this house are made of so-called cob, a mixture that is all natural. Weston Lombard built this house and even lived in it for a year, making certain sacrifices.
It was definitely a lifestyle house. I don't have the internet down here, and I have to bucket water from a spring. I have to go to the bathroom in a 5-gallon bucket. But besides being slightly less clean than everyone else, I was still able to fit in and function in normal society.
Now he and his fiancée live in a cabin on the property because their jobs demand things like access to the internet. But his brother still lives in the cob house, even during the winter. A small fireplace keeps the house warm.
So how it works is as the fire burns, the air is traveling through there and is slowly being absorbed by the bench. After several hours of burning a fire, the whole bench becomes warm.
And once the bench is warm, it heats the whole house. Everything in this house is made of natural or recycled materials.
In some fashion. Even this fabric is from a thrift store. I didn't buy anything new except for the solar system. I got a good deal on a scratched panel.
It took 1.5 years to build the house. Lombard estimates that it cost $3,500. He wants to show people that it's easy to find everything a person needs in the area. Lombard, along with 2 friends, Lawrence Green and Molly Jo Stanley, founded an organization that tries to show people ways to use nature and preserve the environment.
So I'm hoping to organize workshops, bring in experts on natural building, and have sort of a demonstration site here on the farm. We're building another structure outside. It's a timber frame pavilion, but that'll be another teaching tool. Each of the little sites will be a demonstration site and teaching tool.
A first workshop is set for March. It will not only focus on alternative living, but also gardening and renewable energy. Tina Kühne, WOUB News.
A telecommunications and software technology company is setting up shop in the area. BTS Software Solutions of Maryland will expand to Gallipolis in March. The CEO is from the area and says he wants to improve innovation in his hometown. A county commissioner says this decision will create jobs, develop minds, and have a long-term positive impact on the community. BTS is expected to hire at least 20 full-time employees by the end of the year. And another addition to the area, a counseling center for addicts has opened in Ironton. Community counseling and treatment services was starting to cope with the large number of pill mills in southeastern Ohio. The building itself has gone through rough times. It was a pill mill as recently as this summer. The center already has 20 clients and is certified by the Ohio Department of Alcohol and Drug Addiction Services.
Welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Alex George. Currently in Athens, it's 46 degrees with winds from the southwest at 6 miles per hour, which may make it feel a little bit cooler than 46 degrees. We have humidity at 37%, our dew point at 21 degrees, and pressure decreasing throughout the evening. Throughout our region, we have temperatures at 45 degrees in Columbus, 48 degrees in Portsmouth, 48 degrees in Ashland, and 46 degrees in Ashland. In St. Clairsville, we have 44 degrees. Overnight tonight in Athens, partly cloudy with 32 degrees, a chance of rain in West Virginia, but winds coming from the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. So, Rachel and Alyssa, we didn't see any precipitation today, but we might see some later in the week, so be prepared for that.
We'll take the sunshine while we have it, though.
Exactly. Enjoy it while it's here.
Thanks, Alex. Ohio University and residential housing have decided to close down Wolf Street Apartments, an on-campus apartment complex. Current leases expire on June 15th, and then all residents will have to relocate. The building has 52 units, and most residents are graduate students and their families. There are tentative plans to demolish the buildings as part of an overall revitalization for university buildings.
Some people might dread the thought of jury duty, but one Athens County official is looking forward to performing his civic duty. County Prosecutor Keller Blackburn received a questionnaire that he'll fill out before his official summons arrives. Although Blackburn wouldn't serve on a jury for a criminal case involving the state of Ohio, he could be selected for a civil trial. Blackburn says he was initially shocked when he received his questionnaire, but is excited about the experience.
I love this process, and I love community service, and I love public service. So, I would love to serve on a federal jury one day. It's part of what I like to do. I go out and I volunteer. I work in the community. So it's part of who I am. It didn't just have to do with being county prosecutor.
Blackburn has been previously summoned for federal court duty, but wasn't selected for a jury.
Snowville Creamery is a small milk processing plant in Meigs County that uses sustainable farming practices in production. Snowville is now planning an expansion, and a company official is here to talk about that this evening. That company official is Warren Taylor, the CEO and founder of Snowville Creamery. Thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you.
All right, now the big news is you're planning a yogurt project. Now, just exactly what do you want to do, and why are you doing this?
Well, first of all, I love yogurt. I've made yogurt all my adult life. I think it's a wonderful, helpful product, and our customers have been begging us to produce yogurt.
I don't blame you. Who doesn't love yogurt?
Yes.
But any project like this needs some funding, and you're hoping to raise some money for the project with a Kickstarter. What exactly is that, and how does it work?
Yes. We were pointed to Kickstarter by a business attorney in Cincinnati who recognized the problems a small business like ours has capitalizing itself. And so we looked into it and found that this is a growing way. It's also called crowdfinancing. You actually propose your project, make a video, put it up through Kickstarter, and then you're asking for donations.
So how's it going so far?
It's going fine. We're about 9 days in, and we're out of a 45-day project. We're not quite on track, but I have every confidence that we'll get the $50,000 that we're looking for to do this project.
You say it's a 45-day project. When
Yes.
do you intend to make or producing yogurt?
Yes, we can't start until the project's complete, but when it is, we think we'll be in the marketplace in as little as 6 weeks. So much of the equipment that we need to produce yogurt is already there in the plant, and so we just need basically a packaging machine, and we found one used, very inexpensive, and so we'll be able to get into it for a relatively small amount of money.
Well, with this project, do you think there'll be job creations with this project?
Absolutely. I think we'll probably end up adding a couple of employees. Right now we have 30 full-time employees. Last year our payroll was nearly $800,000. So we're looking forward to adding more people, always.
Now, why would people want to give money to this yogurt project?
Well, I think a lot of people appreciate that in today's world it's very difficult for small companies to survive. Today our dairy industry is very thoroughly monopolized. We're competing with companies that are literally tens of thousands of times larger than we are. It's very difficult for a small company. By the same token, our being local and fresh gives us a superior product. So people who appreciate what we're doing in terms of the sustainability of our farming practices, the freshness and quality of our products, just the idea of community. There's a lot of people who support what we're doing. So we're thrilled to find people making commitments to fund the project.
All right, well, just briefly, you were telling me earlier about where you sell some of your products, even in Washington, D.C. Do you tend to have the yogurt there, too?
Absolutely. In Washington, D.C., we're in 22 Whole Foods stores, and Whole Foods is our biggest single outlet for our milk and dairy products. So Whole Foods is very much supporting us and will give us an immediate outlet for our yogurt.
Well, Warren Taylor, thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you very much.
Ohio University's Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine is helping young students get healthier and stay active.
We'll have a live interview with a nurse consultant from an obesity prevention program.
And the GOP presidential candidates are gearing up for tomorrow's primary in New Hampshire. Next on Newswatch.
The nation's first 2012 election primary takes place tomorrow in New Hampshire, and all the GOP candidates are making their final pitches. CNN reporter Tommy Andres looks at those leading in the polls and how everyone is expected to do tomorrow.
After all the rallies
what a welcome.
and all the debates, Mitt Romney looks like the man to beat in tomorrow's New Hampshire primary. Polls show him far ahead of the competition. That made him a target in the second of two debates over the weekend.
Mitt, I realize the red light doesn't mean anything to you because you're the front runner. But can we drop a little bit of the pious baloney?
Romney had a narrow victory against Rick Santorum in the Iowa caucuses. His rivals are now looking to bring him down in New Hampshire to boost their own chances. That's especially important for John Huntsman, who spent almost all of his time campaigning in New Hampshire, hoping that state will push him forward.
I put my country first. Governor Romney puts politics first.
Two other candidates are already making a big push in the state that holds the third contest, South Carolina. Santorum and Texas Governor Rick Perry are both hoping to do well with South Carolina's more conservative base.
All the other candidates will say they need your help. They're lying. I need your help.
Congressman Ron Paul says he'll be heading to South Carolina within 12 hours of learning the results in New Hampshire. That would give the third-place Iowa finisher more than a week to campaign for the January 21st contest. I'm Tommy Andres reporting.
Before the weekend debates, two separate polls showed John Huntsman's numbers on the rise. However, most recent polls still show Mitt Romney with a double-digit lead over the other candidates.
Pharmaceutical company Novartis is recalling many of its over-the-counter drugs. The recall includes Gas-X Prevention and Bufferin with December 2013 expiration dates. Also listed in the recall are Excedrin and NoDoz with December 2014 expiration dates. Novartis says the recall comes from customer complaints about mislabeled and broken pills. Ohio University's College of Osteopathic Medicine is working to get local children healthy and active. The project includes a childhood obesity prevention program in Athens County schools. Mary McPherson is the program's nurse consultant, and she joins us now in our studio. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa.
Now, when and how will the obesity prevention program be implemented exactly?
The program has actually already been implemented. We are working with various preschools and daycares in Athens County right now with the knapsack program, which is a CDC-funded and research program through the University of North Carolina. And we are helping preschools and daycares to look at their own facility and do some planning to implement increased activity and more fruits and vegetables.
Let's talk briefly about the elements of the program. How exactly are you going to give schools suggestions to help combat childhood obesity?
We're going to give them suggestions through directing them to the Michelle Obama Let's Move initiative. This is a new initiative, and this calendar year, actually in 2011, working with very many different entities across the United States to get children up and get them moving and to help them make better food choices.
What grade levels are you looking at to get involved in the program? You mentioned, you want to start at the daycare level, so young children, and then eventually move up towards high school.
Correct. We are right now concentrating on two different areas, as you said, the preschool, daycare, and then there's some planning going on to work with some of our high schools also, but that's really in the planning phase right now.
Now, how big of a problem is obesity in our schools? We hear a lot of reports from various news sources, but especially in our area, how big of a problem, are we seeing?
Well, in our younger age children, we're really not seeing that much of a problem. We're actually below the national average for children age 5 and under. But when we get to the 12 to 17-year-olds, we are above the state average in Ohio, running around about 36% of our children falling into that obesity category. So we're concentrating on not only improving nutrition choices for them, but also getting them moving, because those two keys really go together.
Now, high school students, we mentioned, obviously, are part of this program as well. How can they, because they're older, they have more control over what they do, how can they push themselves toward a healthier lifestyle, eating better, more physical activity? What can they do?
What they can do is choose more fruits and vegetables every day and just move as much as possible. Be involved in school programs. Everybody likes to do something different, whether it be marching in the band, getting involved in sports, or intramural sports in your school. Just get up and move. That's the theme.
That's a good message. Well, Mary McPherson, thank you so much for being here this evening and speaking with us.
Thank you.
Honda says it will build a new version of the Acura NSX sports car in Ohio with plans to have it on the market within 3 years. The NSX previously was built from 1990 to 2005 at Japanese plants. With more business news, here's what's happened on Wall Street today. On weather, we have decreasing temperatures throughout the week, some possible precipitation, and this will be all in my extended forecast, so make sure to stay tuned. Currently in Athens, it's 46 degrees, and our regional temperatures, we have 45 degrees in Columbus, we have 48 down in Huntington, and 46 in Athens. Overnight tonight, it's 32 degrees, mostly cloudy, with a chance of rain for West Virginia with winds from the west from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking at our regional tracker for tonight, we have 32 degrees in Athens, 31 degrees in Columbus, and 32 degrees in Ashland. With mostly clear skies, we have a little cloudy skies in Ripley, but other than that, mostly clear. Looking at our daily planner, as you wake up in the morning, we have 32 degrees at 6 a.m. We have 45 degrees at noon, and we reach our high at 3 p.m. with 49 degrees. Our temperature is only slightly increasing throughout the day. Tomorrow, our high is 51 degrees, sunny skies, but increasing clouds throughout the evening. Make sure you get out and enjoy the nice weather because we have some precipitation coming in later in the week. Tomorrow, looking at our regional temperatures, 51 degrees in Athens, 48 degrees in Columbus, 52 degrees in Portsmouth and in Ashland, mostly clear skies for tomorrow. Looking at tonight, we have a low pressure system and a cold front with a high pressure system right here. But moving into tomorrow, the cold pressure system and the low front move out, and that high pressure system is here, bringing us our clear skies and our warmer temperatures. Today, we had a high of 50 degrees and a low of 34. Both are only within 10 degrees of the average. Our record in 1946 was a high of 71 degrees, and in 1970 we had a low of -3 degrees. This morning, if you were up bright and early, the sun rose at 7:46 a.m. and the sun just set at 5:23. Looking at our 7-day outlook, we have warmer temperatures on Tuesday at 51 degrees. On Wednesday, we have a 70% chance of precipitation, our high of 51 degrees. Looking at our weekend, cooler temperatures, but we have pretty clear skies, a couple clouds. So guys, just make sure you get out for tomorrow, enjoy the nice weather, because we do have some rain coming in for Wednesday and Thursday.
Even though we have that rain, these temperatures still seem really above normal for January. This doesn't seem exactly like normal January weather.
Absolutely. It's been much warmer. I mean, last week we were in the 70s, so great weather. Get out and enjoy before the snow comes.
We have tomorrow to enjoy the sun, and then we'll just deal with the clouds until the next batch of sunshine comes through.
Exactly. One day at a time.
Thanks a lot, Alex.
All right. Well, it's just not the weather that's going to be slightly gloomy around here. The Ohio Bobcats didn't have such a great weekend either. Nick Hurst now joins us here for sports.
Yeah, for both men's and women's teams. The girls lost in a thriller at Kent State, and also the men's basketball team's shooting troubles. Are they an issue for the team? See what the players have to say about it next on Newswatch. The Ohio Bobcats basketball team is on a downslide. The Green and White dropped their second straight loss in their opening conference game against the Bowling Green State Falcons, losing 67-57. Ohio ran cold from behind the three-point arc for the second straight game. The Cats shot just 4 of 20 from downtown. Ohio did have a 1-point lead after the end of the first half, but the combination of turnovers and the shooting woes eventually led to the Cats crumbling in the second half. However, the Bobcats are not making excuses for their shooting problems.
I don't think anything specific. You're just going to have those nights sometimes. Sometimes it's just not going to fall. We got to figure out a way to get stops and to continue to play. Play the game even if our shots aren't falling. We got to figure out a way to get a win.
Next up for Ohio is their first MAC home game against Buffalo on Wednesday. The bad weekend was not limited to the men's basketball team, as the Ohio women also now have one loss in the MAC. The Bobcats fell to Kent State 68-65 on Saturday. 3 players scored in double figures for Ohio, led by Tanisha Benson's 15, but it was not enough. Kent State trailed by as many as 8 points in the second half, but Diamond Beckford proved to be too much for the Bobcats. Junior scored 19 points on 4 of 7 from 3. Beckford had only made 4 threes in her first 11 games of the season. Unlike the basketball teams, Ohio swimming and diving had success this weekend, defeating visiting Denison 186-101. Freshman Haley Bartlett was the star of the meet for the Bobcats. She set the 3rd highest score in Ohio history for the 1-meter board and the 2nd highest score for the 3-meter board. The win was the 4th dual meet victory of the season for the Bobcats. 4 Athens County girls basketball teams are in action tonight. Both Alexander and Trimble are looking for their first wins of the season. The Spartans will travel to Marietta and Trimble hosts Eastern. In other games, Athens takes a 2-game win streak to Groveport Madison for a non-conference matchup. Meanwhile, Federal Hawking will be in TVC Hawking action as they try to stop a 2-game losing streak at Miller. The wait is now over for former Cincinnati Reds shortstop Barry Larkin to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Larkin has been eligible since 2010 but failed to reach the 75% of the vote required to be elected. This year, Larkin received 86%. The shortstop was a 12-time All-Star, a lifetime .295 hitter, and stole 379 stolen bases in his 19-year career with the Redlegs. Tonight is the national championship for college football. The game features a controversial rematch of the LSU Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. The SEC rivals, of course, met in their traditional regular season game scheduled on November 5th. The Tigers won 9-6 in overtime. Alabama won the rest of their games and was propelled back into the number 2 spot in the final BCS standings. The Cleveland Cavaliers are now .500 on the season. The Wine and Gold were trounced by the Portland Trail Blazers, falling hard 98-78 last night. The Cavs could not buy a three-pointer, going 3 of 24 from behind the arc. On a positive note for the Cavs, Kyrie Irving led the team in scoring with 21 points and had the best field goal percentage of the starting 5 for Cleveland. The Cavs will play the 4th of their 7th game road trip tomorrow when they travel to take on the Utah Jazz. Scott Arneal is out as Blue Jackets head coach. Columbus fired Arneal earlier today. In 1.5 seasons as coach, the Jackets won only 45 games in 123. Through 41 games this season, Columbus has had a league-worst 27 points and are in last place in the Western Conference Central Division. The decision to fire Arneal comes a day after losing to Anaheim 7-4. Assistant coach Todd Richards will take over as interim head coach. Well, in case you have not heard, there is a quarterback for the Denver Broncos that is kind of a big deal. And last night, that man helped lead the Broncos to a 29-23 overtime victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name is Tim Tebow. Tebow connected on an 80-yard TD pass to Demaryius Thomas on the first play of overtime, which resulted in the W. The rest of the Broncos, however, have been somewhat overshadowed by Tim Tebow, whose name generated the biggest buzz in the history of Twitter. Tebow's victory was tweeted about over 9,000 times per second. So I know you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I'm very sorry that Tim Tebow happened to beat you.
Well, it's okay. I think it's going to be a tough game for Denver next week as they go against the Patriots and Tom Brady. Well, they killed him in Week 14. I think it's going to happen again.
We'll see if Tebow's magic can come through.
It's going to be a big one. We'll see.
Well, thanks, Nick. And stay tuned tonight on WOUB.
Here's a look at what's coming up next on your public television station. And Alex George joins us now with a final look at our weather for this evening.
Currently in Athens, it's 46 degrees, southwest winds at 6 miles per hour. We have pressure decreasing throughout the evening. Taking a look at our region, we have Columbus at 45 degrees, Portsmouth and Ashland at 48 degrees, 46 degrees in Athens. And tomorrow, 51 degrees in Athens, sunny, increasing clouds, but calm winds, so it's going to be a pretty nice day tomorrow.
All right, looks absolutely beautiful. Thanks a lot, Alex. And that does it for our broadcast on this 9th of January, 2012. Thanks for watching. For Alex George, Nick Hurst, and Rachel Hoops, I'm Alyssa Hansen.
You can get the latest news and weather on the WOUB Radio Network, and you can view our program anytime online at WOUB.org. Have a great night.